When we watched the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, we got a good look at Pokémon ZA. I know they've showed off some of it before at some like Pokémon Presents and things like that, but this was really the first time I saw some new gameplay of it. And I'm interested. I'm definitely getting this game. I like the last Legends game, Arceus. I play all the Pokemon games, so I'm definitely pumped to get ZA. But I saw this article on The Gamer today. Pokemon should be embarrassed, by Stacy Henley. And they're talking about the Switch 2 Direct. The atmosphere was abuzz when I took my seat at Nintendo's European presentation for the Direct that would reveal the Nintendo Switch 2 to the world. There was excitement for what we would see, sure things like Mario and long shots like Kirby being debated, and a creeping sense of fear around the edges too. Are we being a little too dramatic there? Fear? A creeping sense of fear for a video game? I think we're being a little dramatic there. I don't think anybody was scared going on, though no doubt exaggerated by the fact this was being broadcast on a giant screen by Nintendo itself, rather than watching with headphones hunched over a desk. There were several pops during the showcase. But that's funny that they're using a wrestling term. Mario Kart's rail grinding, the impressive performance features, the Dusk Bloods being from Software and a Switch 2 exclusive, Silk Song still existing, all of these drew a variety of cheers. Then Pokemon appeared, and the noise could be generously described as a nervous murmur. I'm calling bullshit on this. This is very dramatic. Could you imagine Pokemon appearing on the screen with how popular Pokemon is? Everyone loves Pokemon, and then this crowd that's excited watching all this on a big screen, all of a sudden they get nervous and start murmuring? No. Nope, I'm not buying it. I think we're doing a little fictional storytelling here. It is dramatic. Of course, we just had a Pokemon Presents, which offered more details of the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA, and the game had been revealed prior to that. In fact, it was revealed before the Switch 2 itself. Unlike the dazzling reveal of Donkey Kong Bonanza or the first deep dive into Mario Kart World, there wasn't much new in Pokemon's trailer. It was just a reminder that the game existed, to advertise that Nintendo was the only place to play one of the biggest media franchises on the planet. Yeah, I mean, that's a given. The game has been announced for a long time. But being one of the biggest media franchise on the planet, shouldn't it look a little better than this? I realize there's an art style going on, and hope Nintendo continues in that vein, even as it now has the power for photorealism. Forget photorealism. I got that outside my window. I see it every day, everyday life. I don't need it in video games. It's a fantasy world. I'm tired of everything having to be real life, slowing down and glitching everything, 15 frames a second, and all these bugs, and it looks like ass. Forget that. But anyway, that's a different rant. But Pokemon seems to use that as an excuse to cut corners. Pokemon scrambled for the entirety of the Switch generation, seemingly unfamiliar with the broader horizons a home console offered it, and it will debut on the Switch 2, still being engineered for the constraints of handheld play. Well, alright, let's look at the Pokemon games on the Switch. Yes, Scarlet and Violet had the worst pop-in I've ever seen in a video game. But Legends Arceus I didn't have any issues with. And still, even with all the pop-in in Scarlet and Violet, I finished it. I enjoyed playing it. Yeah, I understand there was disappointment that I even had myself with Scarlet with the pop-in, but it didn't ruin the game. So they go on. Again, we had all seen Legends ZA. We knew what it looked like. Nobody was expecting Pokemon of the Wild. And defenders can point to improvements. The edges are more rounded, the colors are brighter, the load times presumably are faster. But Pokemon undoubtedly made for a damp squib in a showcase that also bragged about the Switch 2's ability to run Cyberpunk 2077. Well, here's the thing. It's not a Switch 2 game. It's a Switch 1 game. This game is playable on the Switch 1. So it's going to look a little better on the Switch 2. It wasn't built for the Switch 2. So to compare it to these other games that are being built for the Switch 2 is not fair. This is a game that's been in development for a while. So if you can still be disappointed all you want in the visuals, that's fine. But don't blame it on the fact that they underdeveloped a Switch 2 game when they're not developing a Switch 2 game. They're developing a Switch 1 game. The awkward grumbling when Pokemon appeared felt like collective embarrassment on the game's behalf. I don't believe any of this. This didn't happen. It still looks empty, devoid not only of grass textures or visual stimuli, but as it is increasingly feeling with Pokemon of a soul. What? What it's Pokemon. What, you want realistic grass? Why does do you want to see what Pikachu would look like in real life? Then go watch the Detective Pikachu movie. Like, these are anime fantasy animals. It should look like a cartoon. I don't want to see this look in real life. Like, to me, this is the direction that takes away the fun in a lot of games. That everything has to look realistic. In the words of Peter Griffin, oh my god, who the hell cares? Exactly. The majority of the footage we saw was inside Lumio City. So, like, there's city streets and sidewalks, and I don't know how much grass you were looking for there. Pokemon has been doing the same game for far too long, clutching onto an Everstone. For those who don't know, an Everstone prevents them from evolving. So, cute reference there. And when Legends Arceus explored the past in a way that makes it interesting, the sequel immediately abandoned that idea. Why do you still need to be in the past? You don't even know what the storyline is yet, and you're already judging it just because it doesn't take place in the past. And Pokemon has been doing the same game for far too long. People have been buying it for 29 years because it works and they love it. Why would you change that formula? Are you insane? Why are people obsessed with everything looking too realistic? It drives me nuts. Me too. Why doesn't Pikachu's lighting have ray trace 4K real-time reflections? Seriously, like, what do they want? It's Pokemon. The point of it is catching the cute monsters, trying to catch them all, winning your battles, following the storyline from start to finish, trying to beat all the gym leaders or whatever. Like, when has visuals ever been a Pokemon thing? It's all about the gameplay, not the graphics. I agree. Pokemon feels achingly distant from where it should be, and not taking advantage of the Switch hardware was one thing. Failing to see the infinite possibilities offered by the Switch 2 feels like negligence at the wheel. Again, it's a Switch 1 game, not a Switch 2 game. Still the most recognizable series Nintendo owns, it looked desperately out of place among the rest of the Switch 2's roster. It should be leading the way, but it's lagging behind. Pokemon has never led the way in visuals, man. What are they talking about? It should be leading the way in visuals. Maybe Legends ZA will be great. I'll certainly buy it to find out, which makes me part of the problem. But it does not look, or more importantly, feel like a Switch 2 game. Who cares? Pokemon needs to step up. With Legends being cross-platform, maybe it has the slimmest of excuses. No, that is not an excuse. That's the reason. It's a Switch 1 game. That's the reason. You even notice it right here. It's the first time you mentioned it being cross-platform. So you know it's a Switch 1 game. You're just bitching to bitch. By the end of the Switch 2 era, Pokemon needs to have stepped into the future, or like the Legend series always should have explored, it risks being left in the past. Cute end. She's just bitching to bitch. This is a Switch 1 game that for some reason you want to be this immaculate looking game on the Switch 2. That is also a Pokemon game. Like, what are you expecting? It's a freaking anime. It's a cartoon. It should look like that. I don't want real life people in real life Pokemon. Holy cow, man. What are we talking about here? We're complaining about visuals of a Pokemon game. Like, seriously, do they want to see every piece of fur on the Pokemon? Like, do you want to see Jigglypuff's butthole when it's flopping around? Like, I don't understand what you want here. It's Pokemon. It's a cartoon. Have you ever said, like, Dragon Ball needs to look realistic and get into the future? This is no different. It's Pokemon. It doesn't need to change. The formula works. It still looks like an anime. It still looks like a cartoon. And to say it's going to be left in the past and it's holding on to an Everstone, no. This is a timeless formula that will never get old because you got to catch them all, and that's all that matters.